Hey friends, Ken Hubbard here. Thanks again for finding my webpage and tuning in. I'm kind of on a part 3. I usually want all these to be self-contained, but I'm on a part number 3 of how to reach your dream life, or how to climb the ladder. So the value rung on the ladder, then the habit rung on the ladder. And today I want to just kind of give you an overview of the mindset part of that. I'm convinced what we think about in life is where we go about in life. So I want to talk to you a little bit today about kind of hacking the brain, if you would, and reprogramming the brain. I read something recently, and I can't remember where I read it, and I can't quantify it. But I read where when we start our day by being grateful, it's possible to be up to 37% more productive. Now, I can't quantify that statistic. I don't care if it's 3 or 7 or 17 or 27. Any percent that I can be more productive and be growing and going to a higher level is good for me. I just want to kind of use a shotgun approach, and I'm going to give you a number of ways that can help you hack your brain and to start thinking more healthy and getting rid of some of the negative thoughts that pull us down. So let me just give you some today. And again, you can go to olinleadership.com. We do a full coaching on these 4 steps in the ladder. So I'm just going to hit a couple of high points today, and I hope they'll just help you. You can have this totally free, just to kind of stimulate your thinking into a new way of thinking. The first thing I tell you to do, I'll give you just some general practices. Number 1 is I've talked to you about changing your mind by paying attention to your self-talk. So self-talk would be number 1. I'd quit saying things like, just don't be negative in your conversation. Don't say things like, I could never do that, or that's for somebody else. Start with healthy self-talk. And even simple things, this is going to sound silly to some of you, and I had to break this habit. When I drive, especially in the traffic of the Seattle area, the Pacific Northwest, man, it's traffic like I've never seen. And I would complain. Now, nobody could hear me complain, but I could hear myself, and it would get me agitated. I just chose that I would start with healthy self-talk. I wouldn't complain when I was in the car. I wouldn't say I couldn't do something. I wouldn't say, well, you know, my luck. I just stopped all of that negative self-talk. And that could be complaining, criticizing, gossiping, or any kind of failure words. I think champions and winners kind of have this elite kind of verbiage, and I just want to challenge you to start with that one. Number 2, the second thing I would say is that you should minimize in order to maximize. In other words, there's going to be some things you got to say no to so that your brain has a place to rest. And I think when we have a place to rest our thoughts, then the things we say yes to can become way more productive. Let me say it in a way that relates to the brain. I think we've become a culture that is, we are a little bit addicted. We almost wear it like a badge that we can multitask. But I read recently that when we are multitasking, we are 40% less productive. I'll give you an example that just happened to me recently. I was trying to write a lesson for a coaching seminar that we were doing, or a talk that I was doing. And so I was writing a lesson, and I had my phone next to me that would buzz every time I got an email. Well, I was in the middle of producing and publishing my book, and I had my book cover out for a contest of literally thousands of artists designing my book cover. And every time a new one would come, my phone would ping, And I couldn't wait. I was like a little kid at Christmas, man. I couldn't wait to see the new one. And so I'd write a sentence and ping, and I would go over there and look at that and evaluate that for 5 minutes. And then I'd set my phone down and try to go back to writing. I was getting nothing done because my mind was focused on, I can't wait for the next one to come. So when I'm writing, I don't take phone calls. I set my phone in another place. In other words, I minimize so that I can maximize. The third thing is, I call it closing the gate. In other words, we can't have a successful outer world if we don't have a successful inner world. So I'm very particular what I look at and what I listen to. Am I listening to and looking at things that are building the internal me up? Number 4, the fourth way to start hacking my mind and my mindset is simply by rest. And I know that just sounds like nothing super extraordinary, but I would just say, get your phone out of your room when you're sleeping. Don't stare at the computer before you go to bed, and get a good night's rest. Proper sleep is of great importance. We all live in a stressful world, and everybody's trying to reduce stress. I don't think stress is that bad. I go to the gym and I put stress on my muscles. I put stress on my cardiovascular. When I read books, I put stress on my brain. Stress helps me grow, but it only helps me grow if I stress, then I rest, and then that is what equals growth. The fifth thing I would say is fuel your body in order to fuel your mind. Eat cleaner, eat less junk, less sugar, drink more water. There's all kind of benefits to drinking more water. Just make a simple little change in your life. How about less soda and more water, and a little less sugar and a little more healthy eating? It really fuels our mind. Let me give you another one. How about number 6 is start your day with gratefulness. Again, I've already talked about this, but it gets your brain in the mindset of looking for good things instead of looking for bad things. And I do this by writing those gratefulness things out. Number 7, I tell you to disconnect. I've already talked about this a lot. Just get the technology away so that we can focus and dream. I say it like this: how about find a place to think your thoughts, find a place to land your thoughts, find a place to expand your thoughts. Number 8, I'm big on this one. Get a coach. Someone that can challenge you, someone that can speak into your life, someone that's not intimidated by you. Just get a coach. When I talk to you about my 5 values, when I first started those 25 years ago, I had a coach in every one of those areas that would hold me accountable and teach me. They were at a higher level. I think it's pride that really says, well, they're no better than me. And I think in our society, we've done such a job of pulling people down to our level that we don't have anybody left to look at when we're trying to go up a level in life. Number 9 is, I would say, repetition. And now I've already talked to you about this in the habits, but whatever we repeat in life is repetition becomes self-mastery. It's what we become known for. It's what our identity is. And so just repetition, building those habits, and then the habits build our mindsets, and our mindsets fuel our habits. They work in conjunction with one another. And just to make it an even 10, I would give you this one, and it's really my goal. I work on this every single day of my life. It's going to sound silly, but number 10 to hack your brain is to laugh a lot. My goal is to get my family, especially to get my wife, I want to make her really have a good laugh every single day. And laugh a lot. Laughter is an incredibly powerful action we can have in our life. When we laugh, our stress hormones and our blood pressure, they drop. And maybe that's why kids, you never hear about kids being stressed out, because they're full of laughter and they laugh at things. And you might say, well, Ken, I don't feel like laughing. Well, Sometimes you got to act yourself into feeling instead of waiting to feel yourself into acting. And here's what one psychologist, an expert, said on the subject of laughing, and I'm going to read this. Once the brain signals to the body to laugh, the body doesn't care why. It's going to release endorphins. It's going to release stress as a natural psychological response to the physical act of laughing. I love that. Once our brain signals the body to laugh, it just starts laughing. It doesn't care why. And man, it's almost like laughter is almost like a natural drug that we can take. So those are 10 ways to begin to shape the mind, hack the mind, change the mindset. I hope they help you. I'm going to come back and I'm going to do the 4th step in the ladder of reaching your dreams. So we've talked about our values, building habits around our values. Our habits help us shape the way we think. And now we're ready to set goals. I'll do that in the next lesson. Thanks for listening.